Hey everyone. So after I watched my last video, I wanted to talk more about visas in Taiwan and what happened to me about when I got deported and what to do when you find yourself in this situation. Because when it happened to me, I was freaking out and I didn't know where to go. I could not find any answers. I called the immigration department. They couldn't even tell me what was happening. I think sometimes they just make it up on the spot depending on who you are, what you look like, and what country you're from. Um, it does matter what country you're from, so my story is going straight off from being from the United States. So I'm in Taiwan. When I arrived there, I was on a tourist visa. And then when I decided I was going to go to school for the year, I had to leave the country because you're not allowed to change a tourist visa to a student visa or work visa while you're in the country. You must leave. You have to go to another country and go to a Taiwan consulate over there to change your visa. So I get all my documents together and I flew to Hong Kong for 4 days. And during this time I got my Taiwanese student visa, which is good for 180 days at least. I can't remember. Well, I got it in August and it was good till February. So I had 180 days, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so that's what they give you. Then I got my passport and I had my visa and it says February 20th or whatever. Actually, I have my passport right here. And so when I get back, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm good till February. This is my visa. So I'm thinking, I'm good to go. I got till February and whatever. So I go to school and it's busy. Like, you're living overseas. It's 5 days a week, and I have to walk, like a half hour to school, and then whatever. You just get caught up in life, and then I'm in my class, and school starts. Everyone's visas are on about the same schedule because your visa starts when school starts. So all the students are kind of within the few weeks of each other are going through the same renewal processes or whatever. So my friend from Indonesia, Lini, if you're watching, 好久不见, she said to me, did you extend your visa at the immigration department? And I said, no, what do you mean? She's like, well, if you're a student in Taiwan, you have to go to the immigration department every 60 days to prove that you are actually going to school, because the attendance is very strict if you study overseas. Like, every day you have to sign in, and if you miss too many classes, then they won't allow you to extend your visa, which is what I had to do. So I started to think, like, there's no way this is going to be a problem. My visa is good till February. So I kind of started freaking out, and I honestly waited like a day or two, and I'm like, oh, there's no way. Then I like Googled it, and I was like, student visa, what's the protocol? Nobody explained this to me. Like, this is why I wish I could warn anyone who's studying overseas. Like, make sure you know what's going on with your visa. So I had no idea. It says February. Nobody told me. I don't know how I could have ever thought of this on my own. So it was just terrible. By the time I realized it, I was 7 days over the 60-day period. So I was an illegal alien, technically, because I had not gone and extended my visa. My visa was essentially worthless. So I was just in panic mode. I'm like, I signed a 1-year lease on my apartment. I already paid for school for the whole semester. Like, if I get deported, then, how could I ever explain to my parents that I have to come home and everything? It would just be absolutely terrible. So I am just going on the internet and searching, and I'm reading all these stories like, overstay your Taiwanese visa, you're banned for a year. They give you like a 7 days notice, pack up all your stuff, and you're done. Then that's it. You're done. So I just couldn't even sleep. I go to the school, I explained to them my situation. They said, you need to leave the country as soon as possible. And they gave me a little stamp notice that says, you're deported. Like, you are no longer a valid citizen of Taiwan. So I was like, awesome, great. I called my mom and I said, Mom, don't tell Dad. Dad is going to freak out. get my grandma's credit card and I'm gonna buy a ticket to Hong Kong tomorrow. My mom's like, I'm not stealing your grandma's credit card, this is crazy. So then she made me tell my dad, because I didn't want my dad to stress out. He's already supporting me so much to live in Taiwan. And if you know me or my family, this is totally what we would do. And then so my dad's like, my mom said, just tell your dad, it'll be much easier. So I bought a ticket to Hong Kong. Literally, I think I booked it at like well, I think there's like a 24-hour minimum that you can book a flight. Can't remember, but it was like, I literally left like the next day or the day after. And I didn't know what to expect. I literally brought one little bag with me, and I put like, a pair of clothes. I'm thinking, like, god damn, I could be literally deported. All my stuff's gonna be in Taiwan. Like, what do you do about that? So then I go to the airport, and I am just so nervous. You can't even, it's like, you're getting deported. What do you do? Like, you don't know what's gonna happen. I'm being sent to Hong Kong, and then they're gonna, like, talk to me, or I did not know what was going to happen. So then, I check in. The people at, like, the air, whatever, United or whatever it was, they didn't even notice, which I don't think that matters. So then, whatever, I'm going through immigration, and I go up there and I hand him my passport, and then he looks at it and he's like, what are you doing in Taiwan? I said, I'm studying. And then he looks and he says, oh, and then he just kind of looks at me, and then there is people everywhere. There is like lines. This is like immigration. There's just people everywhere. And he stands up and he's like, we have a visa overstay. We have visa overstay. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's me. That's me. I'm the illegal citizen here. So then they like pulled me aside, and then I went like this back room, like if you can imagine like a TSA, like white walls and some wooden table. And then they were asking me like, they were actually pretty nice about it. They were like, what happened? And I explained to them, I'm a student. I was never told about the protocol on visas and having to extend them after 60 days. Like, I thought I was good till February. And they were actually really nice about it. And they were more worried about me missing my flight to Hong Kong. And they were like, well, let's hurry this up. So I had to write a apology letter to the Taiwanese government. So I wrote it in English and Chinese. My Chinese was terrible at the time, so it was basically just like, 对不起, to say I'm sorry. And then they made sure I got on my flight. They didn't want me to miss my flight. And I said, so what do I do? And I feel a little relieved, but I still don't know what to expect, because I'm thinking the problem is going to be, when, they can send me to Hong Kong, no problem. But when I come back to Taiwan, now I have to re-enter through Taiwanese immigration so I still don't know what to expect. So I say, when I go to Taiwan, do I have to get a new visa? So I'm kind of imagining I have to go to Hong Kong again and go to the visa department, apply for a new one. And they said, no, I literally just had to leave the country and I had to come back. That's it. And when I re-enter, my visa will start over. And I had to pay a penalty, which I can't remember what it was. It was, I don't know, like $200 or something. I had to pay a penalty, write an apology letter. Oh, the penalty is by per day. So however X amount of days you stay over your visa, you pay per day. And then if you go over like 30 days, I met someone who overstayed his visa and had $50,000 that he had to pay. And so, don't overstay your visa. I don't remember what it was, but I had to pay a bunch of money, write an apology letter, and fly to Hong Kong. And then when I got there, I literally didn't leave the airport. I flew to Hong Kong, and an hour later, got back on a flight and flew back to Taiwan. I didn't. Yeah, and I know everybody at home is probably like, that's so dumb, you should have traveled in Hong Kong. I was so poor, because I had to buy this ticket, I had to pay my fee. I literally had no money to get a hotel, or even buy dinner. I literally probably had $10 in my pocket when I was in Hong Kong. I didn't even have enough money to take the train into the city. So I just got on the next plane home. So I went back to Taiwan, and I go through immigration, and it was fine. And then they put a big stamp in my passport here, and this basically says, The bearer of this passport has been notified to depart from the ROC on November 4th. That is the day I got deported. And then after that, for 1 year, you're not allowed to enter Taiwan without a visa. It's like I said in my previous video, you're allowed to enter Taiwan on a 30-day visa exempt entry. You're allowed to go to Taiwan without a visa. But if you do what I did, you overstayed, that luxury is now gone. So they say you're not allowed, you must have a visa. You can't come here for free anymore. So that's my penalty. And that's only 1 year, and so the year has already passed, so I can now enter Taiwan. Yeah, knock on wood, my luck, I'm going to go there and they're not going to let me in. Because overstaying your visa is not a good thing. Because now that's on your passport that you were somewhere illegally. What I've heard that you can do is you can apply for a new passport, and when you get your new booklet, like, you can just tell someone you lost it. This is what I've heard. You can tell someone you've lost it, and then you'll get a new one in the mail, and then when you go through immigration, they're not going to see that stamp because you have a new book. So it's kind of like cheating the system. I don't know. That's definitely not legal. I don't know. I'm not going to do it. It'll be fine. But if you seriously want to get rid of it, that's what I heard you can do. So, yeah, and the reason I actually heard about how you can get around that is that when I was in Taiwan, one of my classmates was from Vietnam, and he was like, this kid needs his own TV show. This kid is like, he's from a small rural village in Vietnam, and his family like gathered all this money to send him to Taiwan to learn Chinese, but actually he was just a worker there, and learning Chinese was just a way for him to get there legally, and he was only doing that for the beginning, and then he was kind of piecing out, and he was just going to live there illegally as an illegal immigrant. But the way he got in was to start at language school, and he happened to be in my classroom. He was like the funniest kid in the world, but he didn't speak any English, and so I don't know. I miss him. He's a good guy, but he had some good stories. Oh yeah, the point I was saying that is he is overstaying his visa, obviously, because he's now an illegal citizen in Taiwan. He's still there. He said he's gonna stay there until the police catch him and send him home. And then he said that he's gonna get around it by applying for a new passport, and then his passport will be empty, and then when he goes to immigration, it's not gonna be there. But I don't know how valid that is. Seems like your name would be in some record, but whatever. Yeah, so that was my Taiwan visa overstay. So if you are on a student visa and you overstay your extension or whatever, you're pretty much good to go if you have some money. If you can afford a plane ticket out of the country and back and pay the fee, then you're fine. What I have heard is that if you are on the 30-day landing visa, like you go there for free or whatever, and you overstay that, then you're not allowed back into the country no matter what for like a year. It depends on where you're from, but that is my Taiwanese visa experience. I mean, and I've had other problems, but this video is going to go on forever, but like I said, it's a headache to live in a country, I would say, for more than a few months. Once you really want to stay there, it starts to be a lot. And I know in Taiwan, which is what I'm probably going to do this fall, is that once you get like a work visa or a student visa, and you're in the country for 4 months without leaving, like 4 continuous months, you can apply for an ARC, an alien resident card, which is like a green card or something in the U.S. And as long as you can prove you're a student or working full time, and you didn't leave the country for 4 months, you have to do a medical check. You have to have a Taiwanese bank account with I think $3,000 US, and whatever. If you jump through all these hoops, you can get an ARC. And once you do that, then life is a little simpler to live in Taiwan in terms of visa. But maybe I'm wrong. If anyone, correct me if I'm wrong. This is from my experience. I don't mean to like generalize. Everybody has different stories, but that's what I had to deal with. And I hope this advice helps. If anyone has any input, just let me know. Alright, good luck with your visas.